Hello, welcome to Paradigm Shift on the Go. This is a place for entrepreneurs to come, and I intend to help lift their human spirit, because the entrepreneur game is not an easy game to play. It's a creative game where we're constantly creating new ideas and bringing new ideas into the world. And this is a journey that no one is meant to do on their own. So what I intend to do is bring you practical tools to help you shift a mental blockage that you might be having, a paradigm that might be stalling your progress. And that's the intention of these videos, is to give you short clips where you're able to implement ideas or techniques to sharpen your saw. I like to think of it as that we've got a internal technology that comes to us for free. We've all got this technology within us, but it doesn't come with a user manual, and very few people are taught how to use them. I was very fortunate. I've opened a number of businesses. I'm definitely not a Uber entrepreneur, but I've started many businesses, and two of them were particularly successful. And one of them recently was from a place we had to start from zero, my wife and I, and we had to create all the money we needed to create the freedom that we wanted. We lost the business in 2005. I lost the business in 2005, and I had to recover. So fortunately for me, I met a man who introduced me to Bob Proctor, and Bob Proctor became ultimately my mentor and helped me, show me how to create the life that I want to live through simple processes. It's not difficult. The only problem is that most people don't understand this material and they don't implement it in their lives. So what I'm talking about today is the question that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is, how do I get clarity? How do I clearly define what to do next in the face of sometimes quite serious challenges that we face? And the main challenges most entrepreneurs have are lack of money, lack of time, or the feeling that they have lack of time. Or for some, they've created a business that they started with, they love building, and it's got to a point where there's so much frustration in the business, they've actually grown to resent the business. So what I want to give you is a simple tool to help you. You can implement it straight away and help you get clarity. We're all on this journey of transformation as entrepreneurs. I'm in that process now. I'm creating a new business in this field. I've had clients, I've coached clients, entrepreneurs, but I had another business and I sold that business, and now I'm building this business exclusively. And so all the challenges that I've had in the past of the sort of discovery stage of how to create a new business, I'm going through that now. And fortunately, I have tools that I can just go through systematically when I have a challenge to uncover the issue that's stalling my progress, the limiting belief that's stopping me from moving forward. So there's a couple of foundational understandings that I'll start with. And the first is, what causes everything to function in this world? There's always a cause and effect. And Aristotle put it, there's a first principles that are the foundation of everything that we experience in this world, everything that is material in this world. They are cause or first principles. And that, for mankind, is our mind. It is consciousness. It is everything evolves out of consciousness. And if you are spiritual, then people call consciousness heaven, and so on. So everything comes from within first. It comes from what we imagine, what we believe to be true for our lives, what we think about, we bring about. So we are actually the creators of our reality. And there's a simple formula. If everything comes from consciousness, everything emanates from there. The simple formula is, what do I want? Desire plus non-resistant belief equals desired outcome. So that's a very simple formula. And if you study any of the traditional self-help books, etc., they all kind of just come down to that. And the original text of that you can find in the scriptures, and that's where the original version of that comes from. And so when we understand that, it's not really difficult to understand how to create the reality that we want for our lives. But how do you get clarity? What is clarity? Clarity is simply understanding. You see, our world is, as you know, we're so focused on knowledge, on intelligence, on getting another degree and, going into that work and not that work and so on. And really, we get distracted with this whole idea of getting another degree, getting more knowledge. There's a difference between knowledge and understanding. Understanding is when you take something you've learned and that forms part of now what I call your paradigm. It forms part of your belief system, because your belief system, what is a paradigm? Paradigm is the collection of what you believe. It's the image you held of yourself, your self-image, the habits, the routines that you move into every day. And the habits, routines, habits of thought, the belief system, the belief of what's possible for your life is the filter through which you make all the decisions in your life. And it is the filter that creates the quality of thought that you think. It creates the quality of the questions that you ask. And how we think influences how we feel, the state of being that we move into. And how we feel causes our body to move in a certain direction, act in a certain way, behave in a certain way. And how we behave gives us our results. Over and over, that's how it works. Not very difficult. That's the creative process. So how do we get clarity? Clarity in how to move forward in our lives. So there's basically two areas that people want to get clarity in. It's clarity on the direction that they're going in their life, clarity in how to get to where they want to go in their life, the plans and so on, and the resources that they need to get to where they want to go. They want clarity about that. And then there's clarity in how to uncover the upper limiting belief that's holding you from moving forward, stalling you from moving forward. And if we just work on those for now and just say, well, clarity is understanding of how to use this technology that we have within us. We all get, we all have mobile phones and we might have an iPhone or whatever. And then we download an app. And that app, generally, when we've downloaded it, will have functions in it that we learn over time. Very few people now download an app and then read the manual how to use the app. They just start pressing and using the app as they go. They start to get an understanding of how to use that app, and they go through trial and error, and eventually I get out how to use that app and get the most out of that app. The question as an entrepreneur to ask yourself is, how do I rise to my full potential as an entrepreneur? If I've got so much time on this planet, why not keep elevating myself without, and I stress this, without it being hard work? How do I allow myself to become more effective and rise to my full potential? Well, it's within us. We have this technology within us, call it an app, whatever you want to call it. It is our 6 mental faculties. These are mental muscles that we all have that we're not taught to utilize to the degree that I learned from my mentor, Bob Proctor, which changed everything for me because it took us from broke in 2005 to financial independence when we sold a business that I grew based on these principles, on the principles of understanding how to use and the purpose of imagination. It's not just to fantasize. The imagination is a powerful tool. I think as Napoleon Hill said that imagination is the greatest nation on the planet. Everything is created first in the mind of man and woman, of human beings. I've got 2 daughters, so I get called up on that all the time. Anyway, the imagination is so powerful because everything I'm talking to you on, I don't know how many apps have gone through to get this message to you. There's lots. And someone imagined that and then created it. Then there's learning to trust, intuition. What is intuition? Well, that's, are we intelligent or are we connected to an infinite intelligence that we are able to download information from? Good question. Where do ideas come from? Do they come from people being really clever, or is it people being connected? And they've developed the intuitive factor. When you walk into a room and there is a sense, there's a feeling in the room, there's a mood in the room, and you pick up on that, what is that? What is that? That's intuition. Everyone's got intuition, but you can develop your intuition. So then we move to the third mental muscle, which is perception, how we perceive the world. That is the state that we are operating from. That is the filter that we interpret the world and will influence the quality of the thoughts that you think, which influences the outcome in your life. So your perception is formed mainly in your formative years. That's based on your belief system. And your belief system, for a large part, was formed from the age between 0 to 7 years old. And for a lot of those perceptions, those beliefs are limiting because they're not actually true. They were just something you interpreted in your family. Might have been about money. It might have been about, work being stressful, or money is the root of all evil, and you name it. There's just hundreds and hundreds of negative ideas that we inherit from people that love us, that didn't do the work, the internal work. And so we inherit those ideas and they become part of our belief system, but they limit us in terms of how far we want to go in our life. And when we recognize that, then we're able to shift them. But this is not what this discussion is about. That's another discussion. So the fourth mental muscle is memory. And memory is great, but we don't, if we rely on memory to create our future, it's going to be very limited because it's only based on what we've experienced in the past. So memory's got a limited value to creating as an entrepreneur. Okay, so you've got a reasoning factor, and when you connect your reasoning factor to believe in, furthering your growth, expansion, and full expression of who you are, if you connect your reasoning factor to that, that is a really healthy thing to do, because the reasoning factor can be used to talk you out of stepping forward into what most entrepreneurs experience as a fog. It's like, I have no idea how to get from here to where I want to go. I can't see where the money's going to come from. I don't see where the resources, the people, the technology, the information, I don't know where it's going to come from. But if you learn to step forward in regardless of what is perceived to be a fog of no clarity, then you're going to start getting the answers coming back that you're looking for. And then the last mental muscle that I want to talk about is the will. And that's where I want to focus today. So when you mix the will with your imagination and you move into a calm and relaxed state, there's only two states of being, that you can only be in one or the other, and that works through with our physiology, through our nervous system. And you're either connected to the resourceful side of your personality, to your character, that is connected to infinite, that is a growth state of mind, then you're calm and relaxed and it actually feels good. Then there's the other state where you don't feel good, and that's when you go into fight and flight mode, and that's when you activate your sympathetic nervous system. What does that do? Well, it heightens all your tension in your body. You're focused on the problem. You're focused on hard work. You're focused on you being the solution to get you out of the problem, rather than calm and relaxed, and you take a step back, give yourself some space so that you can respond rather than react. And you respond by allowing yourself to get clarity of what it is that you want. Because when you hold the image using your will and your imagination of the lifestyle that you want, the business you want to grow, the amount of money that you want to earn, and the value that you want to bring into the world, the value that you want to give to other people so that they find value in you and they reward you with money. When you start to imagine that state, now you're in a creative state, and life will flow through you to allow you to expand, to incorporate that in your life. That's how it works. That is the creative state. Most people forget about this. It's very difficult to get excited about life if you're walking into your work every day, into your business, and you're going from one problem to the next. That's an awful state to be in. No one wants to be there. But if you're walking into your business in an elevated state where you understand that you are in a co-creative state with infinite to create the idea that's important to you, and you make that important, the ideas, the plans, the coincidences, the resources start to show up. And it can happen very quickly. All right, so most of us have experienced that in our lives, but we have a tendency to forget. So how do you get clarity? Well, when you hold the image on your mind, I'm going to suggest that you just take a deep breath. You take a deep breath and invite the image of what it is that you want to create in your life. If it's a beautiful home, if it's a car that you want that you've never owned before, if it's a certain type of client that you want for your business, a certain type of turnover or income that you want to generate out of your business. It might be a relationship that you might want to form with a supplier, or a relationship with a big customer, and so whatever it is that you want to create, invite that into your imagination. And I use the word invite because it's gentle. It's not forcing, it's allowing. When you hold that image in your mind, let's say you hold it there for 10 seconds. Let's say you hold it there for 20 seconds. It doesn't have to be long. But when you get into that state, see if you can actually literally take yourself and step into that image. Take yourself and step into it as if you're there right now. Then ask yourself, who do I have to become to be the person to live the life that I'm imagining? What will I be thinking? How will I feel about this? What emotional state will I be? Will I be overjoyed? Will I be excited about where I am? Will I be enthusiastic? Will I have this insatiable desire to just keep growing my business because it is fun and exciting? It's not a problem. How will I act? What will my behavior be like? And you can start imagining that if you start imagining that on a regular basis, what you're doing now is you're using the creative process to create clarity of what it is that you want. If you do that over and over and over, it becomes clearer and clearer. Using your imagination, what happens then as you're holding it there, ideas start to flow. Why is that? Well, this is where it gets interesting, because if you are able to persuade yourself that that it's possible that you can have that, just that it's possible, that you persuade yourself to feel like that person and get into an emotional state of that person as if you already have it, then the ideas start to flow, because you're thinking from that place. You're not thinking from where you are right now, which is in the circumstances that you don't want. When we are able to train ourselves to live from, as Neville says, our wish fulfilled, then we move towards what we want much quicker. The obstacles that show up are generally the thoughts and ideas and belief systems that don't serve us anymore. And you can write those down. And the simple way to do is to replace that limiting belief with a better performing belief. And that's usually just the opposite of what it is. So I was working with a client, and he had a financial goal, and it was quite significant, but he was struggling with it. And then it turned out that one of his limiting beliefs is that he believed that wealthy people weren't necessarily honest. So I said to him, well, why don't you go and look for people that are incredibly wealthy that seem to be honest people, and convince yourself that, yes, there's dishonest wealthy people, but if they're dishonest wealthy people, there have to be honest wealthy people. You can't have one without the other. It's like in a house, there's an inside to a house and an outside a house. There's always two states. There's good, bad, if that's a thing. There's up, down. There's inside, outside. If they are wealthy, good people, they're going to be wealthy, not good people, which is also a perception. You know, what is good to one person is not good to another, and so on. So it just becomes a minefield if I want to try to explain it here, but you go and find it for yourself. So you find the evidence to prove that that is not the truth. That, you know, to become wealthy, you have to sacrifice. Well, there are people that are wealthy that haven't sacrificed because they're actually doing the work that they love to do. So you can say that, you can convince yourself that it is possible that that's not true. And so it is a process of constant working out what is stalling you, and getting more clarity by using your imagination, using your will to hold that image on the screen of your mind, and allowing, if there are ideas, intuitions, nudges, sudden realizations that come to you, you allow them in. And that's where the intuition is. And then take action. So I hope that helps. I actually spent quite a bit of time going through everything that I understand about this subject, and I've written pages and pages of notes, but it would end up a massively long video if I carried on talking. So I'm going to leave it at this. 25 minutes is about as limited we want to go. If you have any questions about this idea, just drop me a note on the whatever channel you're watching this, and I will get back to you. So thank you very much.